YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I recently went to Edinburgh for my birthday, turned 25, but while we were there I thought it would be fun to do a little rating review video of the coffee shops in Edinburgh, or some of the coffee shops in Edinburgh rather. So yeah, basically I asked the person I was going with to look at the top 5 coffee shops in Edinburgh on TripAdvisor. So this is like solely based around TripAdvisor, not any other kind of reviews, just to sort of keep it a little bit simpler, that kind of thing, just to narrow down what was there, because Edinburgh has so many coffee shops, so many cafes, so many places to go. So we did it just based on TripAdvisor and just based on coffee and tea specifically, because they actually have 2 different sort of lists. They have the coffee and tea list, which is what we used, and also a cafes list, which I'll sort of talk a bit more about at the end, but basically the difference there is that one is sort of more focused towards coffee, one is more focused towards the whole experience of a cafe. At the very end I will do a little bit of a debrief, some thoughts and reflections, that kind of thing. I'll do that at the very end, so yeah. Hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it is useful to you if you are heading to Edinburgh and you're looking for places to go for good tea, coffee, cakes. And yeah, thanks for watching. So we're in Edinburgh. The first one we just went to was Fortuna. Nice. Very good, what's the word? Very good start. Okay, so coffee, I'm going to rate it a 8.5 out of 10. Reasons for that are, it was very easy to drink for me personally. I'm going to get a small black coffee in everywhere that we go to. So the first one, yeah, very easy for me to drink. It's very light in like texture, and flavour wise sort of like fruity, florally, and I feel like, in my opinion, they probably extracted it very well because there was no bitterness or sourness to it. It was, yeah, pretty smooth. So yeah, pretty good start. 8.5 out of 10 for that one. Vibe, also going to rate it on the vibe. Vibe, I'm only going to give it a 5 out of 10. Reasons for that being, could have been a little bit sort of like quirkier. It was quite basic, and the people there were friendly, but maybe could have been a little bit more chatty. They didn't really engage in any sort of conversation with us, so yeah, just a 5 out of 10 on the vibe, but good coffee, so all good. Okay, now we're gonna go and get some food. Catch you probably tomorrow for number 2. Good morning. It's technically the next day because I forgot to do my second review.
Poor admin.
Poor admin, yeah. Terrible videography skills from me. So the second coffee shop that we went to yesterday was called Lowdown. For coffee, I'll start off with my coffee rating. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 because it was very easy to drink. It was very smooth. It was a little bit heavier in like mouth feel, I think is the correct word. Yeah, like it was a bit heavier, a bit like thicker, but also very smooth. And to me the flavours were kind of like nutty and a little bit darker than the ones from the day before. But then I asked him when we were leaving what the flavours actually were, and they were sort of like orange peel, grapefruit and bergamot, I think it was. So it's kind of, and some lemon, yeah. So kind of like more fruity, I guess. But yeah, that was just what I got from it. But that doesn't really change the actual coffee. The coffee was still very nice.
Latte art was good.
Yeah, the latte art on Collins Latte was good, and that was probably the best oat milk latte I've had. The texture was really good. So yeah, coffee wise, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, and vibe wise, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Giving it a 6 because they really cared about the coffee, which I did like, and obviously that feeds into the higher rating for the coffee. Yeah, they were really careful with it. I was watching them do a pour over and he took his time with that, and yeah, they were just like really into it, so that was cool. The only thing was that like it's kind of like masculine in terms of the decor. There wasn't any like cushions. It was like very like, it was like white and wood basically was the colours, which personally for me, I don't find that very comfortable to sit in. It's not very like cosy, which is kind of what I prefer in a cafe or a coffee shop. Yeah, not a lot of character, so that's why I'm giving that one a 6 out of 10 for vibe, but a 9 out of 10 for coffee, because the coffee was really, really good, so yeah. Hello again, I'm back. It's now raining. So we're on the way to the 4th coffee shop now. Just gonna do my quick review of the 3rd while we're walking there. So this has probably been my favourite one so far, I would say. Yeah, very much enjoyed the coffee this morning. So I asked him, because they had
What you call?
Fortitude.
So,
Yeah, I said that. I'm pretty sure I said it was called Fortitude. If not, Fortitude. I'll put a little video of all the coffees that they had out on display. I thought that was quite nice. Had the little cards that said like the altitude and the location and what type of coffee it was and everything. I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, I asked what they had for like a black coffee, and he said they had 2 options for espresso, and then they had 1 option for like a filter coffee, and the filter coffee one sounded like it would be most up my street because it was like a fruitier one, and I can't remember where it was from now. Was it Peru?
the one you had?
Yeah, I think the one that I had was Peru. But hope you can hear me, by the way, over the traffic. But yeah, I feel like the one that I had was a Peru one, and yeah, it was really, really fruity, really easy to drink. They had it in like cute little cups, and they served it with the water, which I thought was nice. And definitely like the lightest one that I've had so far, which again is just like my preference. So coffee wise, I'm going to give it a 9. Or was the last one I gave a 9?
Yeah.
Oh, this one's a 9.5. See, this is my other issue, is that I think I started off too high, and so now I'm having to like creep closer towards 10 out of 10. I don't know what a 10 out of 10 is, but yeah, we're getting closer to that. So anyway, 9.5 for the coffee. Really, really rated the coffee. Nice oat milk latte again. But yeah, I don't think they're using Oatly here because it tastes a lot different. So it'd be interesting to. I should really ask what kind of oat milk they're using. Anyway,
Scottish oat.
so much to do with Scottish, real Scottish oats. Vibe. I actually liked the vibe a lot. I think mostly because the guy was super friendly.
You bash your head though.
I bashed my head on the shelves. Like I was turning around to take a video and I hit my head. So yeah, it was a bit cramped, I guess. Like it was quite small, and again it was quite masculine in terms of like the seats were quite hard. Wasn't like really comfortable. But what outweighs it for me was the guy was really friendly, and he was obviously like very passionate about coffee and happy to chat to me about the different types. So they had lots of vegan treats, which was nice. We had a cookie and a cinnamon bun. They were really good. And so all that being said, I think I'm going to give Vibe a 7.5 because there is definitely room for improvement there, but yeah, I personally really enjoyed that one and felt most comfortable there as well. Like didn't feel sort of a bit awkward or anything like that. So yeah, we're literally arriving at the 4th, or is this the 5th? No, this is the 4th. Oh, I'm losing count. Anyway, we're at the 4th one now, so I will let you know how this goes. So what you'll have just seen there is us heading into Cuckoo's Bakery. So Cuckoo's Bakery, yeah, all in all, a nice experience. It was pretty quiet when we got there, to be honest, at like 1 p.m, but we walked past earlier on in the day and it was pretty busy, so I do think it is a popular one. However, this is kind of where it gets a little bit confusing with the crossover between coffee and cafe and that kind of thing, because basically what we were looking for was really good coffee, and it seems to me that you can't get amazing coffee in somewhere that also feels like a cafe type vibe, or a more relaxed, comfortable vibe. They seem to be more focused on like the cakes and the food and that kind of comfortable experience, and less so about the coffee. And then places that are really focused on the coffee, or this is, you know, just from the experience that we had, they seem to be less like comfortable, a little bit more masculine is what we thought, sort of like very hard wood surfaces, no cushions, and I don't know if that's done on purpose, but I'll talk a bit more about that at the end. But basically Cuckoo felt more like a cafe. It was called Cuckoo's Bakery, so it was definitely more focused towards the cakes, and the cakes were amazing. We had the 3 vegan cakes that were available and they were all pretty amazing. Yeah, the coffee was just like not quite as good as the other places. It was more just like a basic, I would say, a dark roast, one size fits all kind of coffee, where, you know, they can make it into all the different drinks and it's still going to taste good, that kind of thing. So the coffee, I only give it a 5 out of 10. It was a little bit sort of not as nice to drink, didn't go down as easy, a little bit, it wasn't like super bitter or anything, just the actual flavours of the coffee weren't as nice, not as fruity and light and smooth as the other ones. So yeah, I mean, if you're into like a dark roast coffee, then you'd probably really enjoy it. There was nothing particularly wrong with it. For me, just a 5 out of 10 there. And then for the vibe, I've actually given it a little bit of a higher rating on the vibe. I've given it a 7 because they were very, very friendly. We didn't feel any sort of pressure to leave. You know, she explained all the vegan cakes to us and was very happy for us to like sit there and enjoy them. And so yeah, I've given the vibe a 7. I think it was a nice place. Would happily go in there for, you know, like an oat milk latte, oat milk flat white every now and then, that kind of thing. But you're not going to go there specifically to drink, you know, a beautiful coffee that they've got in specially that month, that kind of thing. So yeah, that is Cuckoo. And then next up, I'm going to be doing Le Trois. This is like a French cafe, and it felt very much like a French cafe. The vibe was very French. They did like pastries and stuff. None of it was vegan, so we couldn't actually eat anything. We just got 2 coffees. So again, this is where it's like confusing with the whole coffee versus cafe tea room type vibe. This is definitely not somewhere that was focused on the coffee. This is very much a French tea room type place, focused on the pastries. It is interesting that these places are on TripAdvisor's list of best coffee, and I almost feel like TripAdvisor needs a very specific best coffee, very specific best cafe. Basically just make it very obvious which one you're going to, because these were like crossed over, and some of them crossed over into the cafes list. They've also got a cafes list. Some of these were on both. Fortuna, the first one that we went to, I think that was on both. So yeah, it is a bit confusing if you're looking for just amazing coffee. So we were quite disappointed with this one because it was the last one that we went to. The coffee, I've only given a 4 out of 10 because it just wasn't that good. Like, it was like the one at Cuckoo was kind of a basic dark roast. This was even more of a basic dark roast kind of coffee. There wasn't really any particular flavour there. It was just like a black coffee that you'd expect to get from any sort of standard place. A basic black coffee, that's all I can say. Yeah, coffee for me, they're just a 4 out of 10, and vibe also a 4 out of 10, because just not somewhere that I would choose to go personally. I didn't love all the dark colours and everything. Felt like kind of cafeteria vibe and just didn't really love it. So yeah, no offence to them or anything, but just a 4 out of 10 for the coffee and a 4 out of 10 for the vibe for Le Trois. There we go, that's all of my ratings and reviews. I'm now going to just go in order of mine, and then I'll let you know the TripAdvisor order and we can see the difference. So for me, the top place that we went to was Fortitude. I did actually really like it here, even though it wasn't as comfortable as I would have liked. I did really like it. The guy that worked there was really friendly. He was very interested in talking about the coffee when I asked him a couple of questions, and they had really nice vegan treats. That's my highest rated coffee and vibe. Next up was Lowdown. Again, really liked it there, mostly because they really cared about the coffee. They didn't make us feel sort of like some places where you go and they're really into the coffee, they can make you feel a bit like awkward or like a little bit less than almost if you don't know as much as them, or if you're just going in and you don't really know what you want, that kind of thing. None of that from them. I thought they were pretty friendly. So yeah, that was the second one, Lowdown. Then Fortuna, that was, yeah, pretty good coffee actually. I forget because that was so early on, but it was pretty good coffee. I did really like the coffee there. I feel like I maybe went a little bit too high with the rating just because it was the first one we went to. We were excited. Yeah, liked that one a lot, and it was more comfortable. There was like more comfortable seating. It was a bit more of like a chill vibe. So I'd definitely go back there as well. Like I did really like that one, but that just happens to be third on the list. And then we've got Cuckoo, and then finally at the bottom is Le Trois. I don't know if I'm saying that right, by the way. Le Toilet is maybe what it is that actually is, but it's French, so I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, that's the bottom one for me. So yeah, Fortitude comes out on top, which is really interesting when I now tell you the actual top 5 for TripAdvisor for coffee and tea. So the first one is actually called Bon Tea Room. We didn't go here because I think it was about 3 miles away from like the centre of Edinburgh. So then the second on their list is Fortuna. And then they've got Lowdown. So they actually had Fortuna above Lowdown on their list, which is interesting. And then they had the Le Toilet. And then their bottom one, or their fifth one rather, because they had more, is Cuckoo. So number 5 for them was Cuckoo. So yeah, pretty interesting. And then actually, because we didn't go to the first one, Callum picked just a random coffee shop off the list in place of that for us to go to, and that was Fortitude. So the one that I picked as my top coffee shop was actually number 14 on TripAdvisor's list, which is pretty low down. So yeah, interesting. Wonder why that one is so much lower down on TripAdvisor's list than the others. I don't know, maybe because it's quite small and so it's got less reviews or something. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, just quite interesting that that's how it worked out. However, I did then just have a quick Google before I started filming this, best coffee in Edinburgh, and not TripAdvisor's list, but like just the list that comes up through like Google or whatever it is. I'm not quite sure how that works. The top one that came up there was Fortitude, so I don't know if that's just because I've been talking about Fortitude and so my phone has like picked up on that, and that it's like sending me there as the top one. I literally have no idea how that works in terms of like the Google algorithm, but not TripAdvisor's list, the actual just Google list. Fortitude was at the top there. So, and there was also some on there that we didn't go to because they weren't on TripAdvisor's list, like the Milkman. We just got a takeaway coffee from there on our way out, and we were sort of saying, you know, we looked in and it looked really comfortable. It was really small, but they had like really comfy seats, and they're like meant to be really good for coffee, and they probably would have been like my perfect mix of comfortableness and really good coffee. That's, you know, they're really passionate about the coffee. So yeah, kind of a shame that we didn't get to go and sit in there. We just got a takeaway on the way home. But yeah, again, just interesting that TripAdvisor's list is quite different to like the Google list and also my personal list. Who knows? I guess it's subjective. I guess coffee shops, coffee, tea, all that kind of thing, it's all subjective, really. You know, you can get a good cup of coffee and a bad cup of coffee. That is kind of, you know, you can objectively say which is which, but in terms of the vibe and how much you like the coffee, whether you like a fruity one or like a darker one, that's all subjective. For me, the top one in Edinburgh is Fortitude. Definitely recommend going there if you're into your coffee and you want someone to chat to about the coffee that they've got, and you want to experience that passion and that love for coffee and that kind of thing, and also have some really yummy vegan treats as well. Definitely recommend going to Fortitude, and I would also recommend going to Fortuna as well. I like that one. Yeah, all in all, I would say that for me, what I'm looking for in a coffee shop is comfort and passion is for the coffee. And maybe one day, hopefully, I might be able to put that into my own little place. Very much enjoyed doing that. Thank you to Callum for looking at all the coffee shops and planning it all and figuring out where they all were. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope that it has been interesting and useful to you if you head into Edinburgh. Do let me know in the comments if you are heading to Edinburgh and you are planning to visit any of these coffee shops. Let me know if you've been to any of them before. And yeah, make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, so that you can stay up to date with anything else that I'm up to. I am currently training to be a barista at a coffee shop in York, so I'm hopefully going to post a little bit more about that. I post just like random weekly videos and a little bit about being vegan and that kind of stuff as well. So if you are interested, please do subscribe. I would love for you to join me on this channel. And yeah, I'll hopefully see you next time. See ya.